Previously on Pete's PA.
Stop! Stop! Stop!
The candidates got physical.
You will get hurt.
Natalie faced up to some personal insecurities.
No, my lifestyle has made me obese, obviously.
There was some unwanted attention from an over-enthusiastic fan.
I'm going to be rude again.
Don't be rude.
Fuck off.
I think you're horrible.
That's enough.
What? That's enough.
And Damon was told he would not be Pete's PA.
When we were in the elimination and Damon got eliminated, leaving Natalie, Denise and myself, I was absolutely shocked.
During the elimination, I felt that all eyes were on me and it was me that was absolutely going.
Yeah, it was a little bit gutting for Damon when he went, but on the flip side to that, it was also a relief that, you know, it wasn't me.
It's 8:50 a.m. and celebrity PA Donna Cooling is arriving at the house and she's ready for business.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Doesn't seem quite right saying everyone, does it, with just a trio now?
Very intimate.
Yes, absolutely. Well, today we're going to be looking at how, as a top PA, you need to be media savvy. What do you think Pete's relationship is like with the press?
Touch and go.
Yeah. Well, many celebrities' relationship with the press is quite rocky, and Pete, as you said, is no exception. And often as his PA, you will be called upon to be the public face of Pete Burns. Some of your duties might entail researching and interpreting information that Pete gives you. You'll be required to assist Pete at press briefings and sometimes represent him in his absence to journalists and the media. As a celebrity PA, you really need to be on the ball with the press at all times. And today we're going to be meeting someone who's going to give you some tips on brushing up on your media skills.
Okay, excellent. Brilliant.
I mean, the thing is with me, I mean, yeah, I've got experience in like writing a story, but you know, it doesn't necessarily mean I've not been the other side.
Yeah, it's just like in a conference where you're facing the camera and everything.
Yeah, that's all going to be new for me.
Yeah.
We'll just do what everyone else says. No comment. No comment.
Guys, have a seat. I'm going to pass you over to our media and communications expert, Joan Bird, who's going to give you some hints on how to communicate effectively with the media. Have a good session. Thanks, Joan.
Thanks, Joan. Okay. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about today is how important it is to be media savvy in these days of just so many media outlets out there. Preparation is really key. You need to prepare. What is it that you want to say? What is it that you want to promote? What is it that you're doing there? Yeah? What are your key messages? The way you carry yourself is really important. Up to 93% of the way you communicate is non-verbal. It's done non-verbally. It's how you look, it's your energy, having confidence. And one way of being confident, here's a nice little trick, it's breathing. You have to breathe. I know, everybody has to breathe. But breathing properly will really help you with your confidence. It'll stop that fight or flight, that kind of, oh my God, I've got to talk to these people. If you're asked a question, take a breath and then answer. Don't rush into it. Okay, I'm going to ask each of you a question now. I'm going to see how you handle it. Denise, you first. Do you like to stand up?
Yeah.
I am a journalist. Now, what would you say if I told you that at a celebrity party I've been told that Pete is going to have a nose job before the wedding?
Well, I haven't heard it, so it's, you know, or Pete hasn't told me, so it's, not true.
Beware of saying it's not true. Do you know it's not true? Even if it is or it isn't. Be aware of giving out information that might come back on you at some time in the future. A better way of handling it might be to say, that's not something I've heard, but I'll look into it and I'll get back to you and let you know whether it's true or not. What would you say if I told you that I'd heard a rumour that Pete was one of the most high-maintenance pop divas in showbiz?
That's a very interesting point that you make. I can assure you that what you say is not officially true. I've worked with Pete for a long time now, and I find him to be a very sensible and sensitive person to work for.
Here's my response to you when you said, that's a very interesting point that you made there. Yeah, I wouldn't be making it if it wasn't interesting, okay? No, perhaps better for you would be to come back and say, do you know, he's a really professional, nice guy.
Right.
That's my experience.
Right, okay.
I've heard that Pete and Jodie Marsh have kissed and made up after their Big Brother spat. So can you confirm that Pete and Jodie Marsh are the best of mates now?
No comment.
Now that is the big no-no, okay? That tells me that you're hiding something. You don't want to hide anything. You want to be open. You want to be the journalist's friend. Well, the correct answer to that is, that's not something I know about, but I can find out and get back to you, but it's not something I've heard about. Okay, so you've had an introduction to how to be media savvy today. Here are the key points again. Be prepared. Know how it is that you want to represent brand Burns. Be clear with your language. Steer clear of those no comments. You always want to help out. You're the journalist's friend, in fact.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I feel like, for me, what was quite more interesting about it is being on the flip side to it.
Yeah.
And, for the past few years, I've been taught how to be a journalist, and now I'm sort of learning how to deal with journalists.
You could go back to the neighbour and get them to clarify, as they've obviously been, they've been out spying.
It's a possibility for a laugh. Jodie Marsh might be a bridesmaid. Oh my God.
Really?
So I really do hope that I win this, but I do still wish you both a huge amount of love.
I'd rather stick pins in my eyes.
Having spent the morning being trained on how to deal with the press, the candidates are now about to receive a surprise visitor.
I'm Sophie, I'm a showbiz reporter, and I've come down here today to actually doorstep the final 3 PAs and see how well they handle me asking some, maybe not so nice questions and trying to find out some juicy information on Pete. So, we'll see how they do.
And while Sophie is doorstepping the wannabes, Donna will be observing to see how much they've learned from this morning's lesson.
Can I help you?
Hi, sorry, my name's Sophie, I'm from Reveal magazine. Can I come in for 2 seconds, please?
Can I ask what it's in relation to?
I'm sorry?
Can I ask what it's in relation to?
Yes, I understand that Pete Burns has been coming in and out of this house. I was just wondering if you could confirm whether or not that's true.
I can't confirm anything to you.
I'm sorry?
Can I see some identification?
Yes, of course, yeah.
She could have been anyone. She could have barged in through the door and, really I should have probably put the chain on and been slightly more courteous and opened the door to her. But as it was, I had to think on my feet.
Can you confirm whether Pete Burns has actually been coming in and out of the house?
I can't confirm anything, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay. It's just
Where did you get the information from?
One of your neighbours across the road has been seeing Pete Burns come and go pretty much every day, and I was just wondering, is he working here or is he living here at the moment?
Well, you could go back to the neighbour and get them to clarify, as they've obviously been, they've been out spying. So perhaps if they're your source.
You can't insult someone's intelligence. If they've had more than one report, it's probably going to be true that he has actually been here.
Do you know Pete, though? Have you met Pete before?
Again, I can't confirm anything to you. Leave your card with me. When I'm in a better position, I will get back to you.
I've actually worked with Pete quite a few times for the magazine. He's actually very close to our deputy. I just wonder if there's any chance whatsoever I could come in and have a very, very brief chat if he's around.
Why don't you leave your card with me, Sophie? When I've got any information I can relate to you, I will come back to you as soon as I possibly can.
Is there any chance I could possibly nip in really quickly and use the bathroom? I know it's terribly rude, but I'm absolutely desperate for the toilet. Would you mind if I came in? I've got such a long car journey back.
I'm afraid I'm unable to let you in, Sophie, but there is a Tesco around the corner and it will take you 2 seconds.
I'll literally be really quick. I just got to run in.
Quicker getting there. 2 seconds round the corner.
Please, I've been standing here in the rain.
I'm so sorry. I can't let you in. I'm really sorry.
I shouldn't have let her in under any circumstances. Once they're in, they can make up any sort of story,
Take care. It was lovely to meet you.
Okay,
Thank you. Goodbye.
I thought Natalie was great. She was very polite, but she didn't give me any real information to run a story on, so she was quite tight-lipped on that. I'm basically here today because I've heard some rumours that Pete has been seen coming to and fro from this house. I was just wondering if you could confirm what was going on.
I'm afraid I can't. Is it Sophie, did you say?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
I'm afraid I can't, Sophie, but I can certainly find out some more information.
Is there any chance you can find anything out for me now at all?
Well, I'm not sure there's anyone here really I could ask, but maybe I could find out at a later date. Do you have a card?
Who are you?
I'm Nikki.
You're Nikki, and what do you do? Do you work for Pete?
I do.
You do, and what kind of job do you do for Pete?
Well, at the moment I'm just doing all sorts of things, filling in, just doing a bit of office work.
Oh, okay.
Whatever's needed. It was really hard to think that quickly on your feet and think enough to kind of keep her on side, but not give her anything important.
Sorry, Nikki, just one last thing before I go. I have come down for West End. Is there any chance I could pop in just to use your toilet? I'll be 2 seconds. Is that okay?
I'm afraid our toilet is having a bit of a problem at the moment. I'm not sure you'd really want to go in there.
I'm really not bothered. I'm just really desperate.
It's not my house, and under other circumstances, I might say, I don't. No offence, Sophie, but I don't think it's feasible for me to let you in.
I think when I asked her to use the loo, she was polite but firm. I don't think I could have convinced her to let me in at all. I think she'd made up her mind.
Hi, Sophie.
Hi, what's your name? Denise. Hi, Denise. I've heard that Pete Burns has actually been coming and going from this house for the last couple of weeks, and also I've also seen that there's been a TV crew following him around. Are you filming something?
Well, the TV crews, did you see any TV crews?
I did, yes.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, this is my property, so that's
so this is your house?
Yeah, I live here at the moment, so
right,
yeah,
okay.
I'm staying here. So
and why have you got TV crews coming in and out of your house?
Right, well, that might be something to do with me, but I don't really have to tell you.
So that's got nothing to do with Pete?
No, it's to do with, this is where I live, so the camera crew are here. That's, for my purposes. When the journalist knocked on the door, it was a little bit difficult, caught off guard, a little bit of nerves, lack of experience. Pete has been once before. But he's
been once before, but he was here yesterday. I saw him here yesterday. What was he up to?
I'm not actually going to tell you that right now. But if you give me your number...
Yeah, sorry, how do you know Pete?
Sorry, I work for Pete.
Oh, you do? What kind of job do you do for Pete?
I'm not going to tell you that right now. But if you want,
how well do you know him?
If you give me your number, I will gladly sort of give you a call if there's anything else that I want to tell you.
Sorry, one last thing. I know it's really rude, but I've travelled from the West End and I desperately need to use the toilet. Is there any chance I could pop in for 2 seconds, please?
Right. Yeah, I do actually have a bottom toilet.
Okay, can I just nip in really quickly then?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Denise is the contestant with journalism training. I can't believe it. Out of everybody, you'd think this week would be her week. And she's just fallen flat on her face. I just can't believe it. She just rambled on and on and on. And she was just going round and round with this story about this was her house. She was living here. She had her own camera crew. What was that all about? Why would she say that? And then she let the girl in at the end. Yeah, come on in. I mean, she thought she was being polite, but it was just outrageous. Come on, the girl's a journalist. Wise up.
Donna may not be impressed by how the candidates handled Sophie, but not all reporters are on doorsteps.
Pete is going to be holding a press conference tomorrow. What he'd like to do is have a 10-minute one-on-one with each of you. And during this interview, it's up to you to glean as many key points as possible in which to brief the journalist before the press conference tomorrow. And you need to remember that Pete isn't a fan of the tabloids. And if you give anything away that might generate any negative press, he'll be livid. It's a tough one, so I wish you lots of luck.
I was quite, panic-stricken, having never ever had experience of anything like that.
Well, I got you in here because I guess tomorrow is going to be the nightmare of my career, which is the press conference.
Okay.
I'd rather stick pins in my eyes, so I'm going to help you prepare some notes so you can brief the press.
Brilliant.
And obviously the main point that I want to get in the media is about the upcoming wedding, which will be on July the 6th at 3:30 in the afternoon at the Royal Society of Arts building in Mayfair. The element that I wanted to concentrate on is the clothes, because that's fairly innocuous. I've managed to dig out a really old designer called Kansai Yamamoto, who used to do all of David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust drag.
Bear with me, I'll need to spell that.
Oh, Kansai Yamamoto, it's easy. He used to do all of David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust costumes. He's making me a really, really flamboyant Japanese wedding kimono. The guests, it's still a bit vague who the guests are going to be, but I guess one of the surprises that's still in the pipeline is, as a real surprise due to the Big Brother debacle, it's a possibility for a laugh Jodie Marsh might be a bridesmaid. Oh my God.
Really? Is that your idea?
Yeah, but the thing was that it was a TV show, and obviously I lost my rag on her, but I don't think there's any bad feeling between either of us. But the fundamental things, I don't want this wedding to be presented just as a joke.
Are there any subjects quite close to the bone, really ridiculous subjects, taboo, I need to steer from?
With music, they obviously try and concentrate on You Spin Me Round, and what everybody seems to forget is Spin Me wasn't the only hit I had. I had 11 top 40 hits at that time, and also several huge hits in America and mega success in Japan, but nobody concentrates on that. I'm only ever remembered for Spin Me, which I find quite offensive. It's as though I was a one-hit wonder, and believe me, I wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that the press always focuses on me for is plastic surgery, and what they fail to realise is that most of the surgery I've had is not plastic surgery, it's reconstructive surgery, and it's been because of a few plastic surgery operations that I reacted badly to, and then the whole journey that I've been on over the last few years is reconstructive surgery, which is basically the way they rebuild somebody who's been in a serious bomb explosion or a car crash. So when they refer to it as plastic surgery, reconstructive surgery, that's the difference between a boob job and a mastectomy. It's a very, very serious thing for me. If one journalist stands up and understands the fucking difference, that it's difference between a boob job and a mastectomy.
Yeah, and tap and ballet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a boob job and a mastectomy.
Okay.
But they'll focus on that. They'll go into Big Brother, and after Big Brother, because I'd just come off the surgical table when I went into the Big Brother house. I'd had a major operation. I was on so many painkillers and so many anti-inflammatory medications when I went to the Big Brother house that at the end of it, I went into a complete meltdown, and of course ended up being an old jailbird.
So I can briefly touch upon that, but is that old hat? It's all been done.
Well, the way I'm dealing with the media is I talk about things when I'm doing them, and I've done those, but it's always going to, everything that I've ever done is going to come up to haunt me, and ideally I'd like to be moving forward with things to talk about. I mean, the things that I'm moving forward into is Michael's doing a photography book, like a coffee table book called Untouched, which is just photographs of me. I don't want to put any biographical details in it. I think a picture speaks 1,000 words, and the photos will speak to themselves. None of them are going to be retouched, so it's a very, very brave thing to do. They're absolutely raw photos.
Is it just going to be photos, or is there going to be
just photos? And maybe because Michael writes poems, and it'll probably be photos and poems, so we'll probably do the
that's
photographs.
nice. So it's like a joint effort then, really. It truly
Well,
is.
I'm just the subject, but he's been studying photography for a few years now, and that's really what he wants to do. Okay, so tomorrow's a really big day. I'm dreading it. I want you to go out and brief them, and with this thing that you put together, I want you to brief me, so I'll be absolutely immovable on it. They can't sway me. I'm going to need you to help me there. I want you to do your very, very best and look fabulous.
A lot of the stuff he talked to me about, I've got a background knowledge on because I knew it, so it was really good for when it came to writing down notes, because I could concentrate on the things that I didn't know. So tomorrow,
I just graduated from a journalism degree, so I'm hoping that does give me the edge, but then also you can't help but worry that if you don't win, you're going to look like a bloody fool, aren't you?
I haven't got the greatest handwriting in the world, and I don't do shorthand, so I was scribbling frantically, and I really need to get those points written down in a clear format so I can thread this speech together.
Seriously not taking away anything from you guys, because I know we all want this just as much, but I almost feel like a bit stupid if I didn't win this one.
I understand
because,
that.
It's like, well, I just graduated as a journalist, so it's, I should really be able to work this one out.
So I've got that nervous energy.
No, but I do, as much as I'm going to be honest and say I really do hope that I win this, but I do still wish you both a huge amount of luck, and may the best person win, but it's going to be difficult for us all, I think.
My head is whirling at the moment completely. I'm trying to put a real brave face on. I'm going to end up looking like a complete tit, no doubt. Oh my god. just really conscious that I don't fall over my words and confuse myself too much. Yeah. Shitting a brick. Absolutely shitting myself. I'm so nervous.
It's featuring in a new copybook table. Coffee table book, even.
Well, it's a family emergency, my friend.
Family emergency.
Oh God, I'd kill a bloody lager now.
It's the day of the press conference, and it's created mixed emotions amongst the candidates.
Butterflies in my stomach. Look at a stain on my dress. God.
I'm really excited. You know, I think for me, if you do your research and you do background and you try to cover the angles and try and stay one step ahead, then you get a confidence within you.
Business psychologist Rob Young arrives to take the candidates to meet the press.
So today is all about media savvy. It's about dealing with the press, inviting them in and selling brand Pete. So the press conference is in just about an hour. All ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Shitting a brick. Absolutely shitting myself. I'm so nervous.
I feel okay. Yeah, I feel okay. I came expecting like loads of nerves to set in, but I'm alright at the minute for some reason.
I'd love that.
Perhaps I'm in denial.
Oh God, I'd kill a bloody lager now. Just to calm my nerves a little bit.
The skills that I'm looking for in a PA as far as dealing with the press are very, very basic. They've got to be able to feed the press just enough to keep them interested in me, and they've got to be cunning enough to not give them things that will sell me down the river and wreck my private life.
In a conference room in a North London hotel, the press are waiting to be briefed, and Rob has a surprise for Natalie.
I have bad news for you.
What?
Pete's not going to be able to make it.
Okay.
You're going to be able to handle this on your own.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I'm slightly scared, but I'll try and cope to the best of my ability. Hopefully I won't get too tongue-tied, and just hope for the best.
Pete can't make it to the press conference because he's upstairs with Rob, where unknown to the candidates, he'll be watching their progress on a monitor.
Oh, she's got red glasses and red tights and a blue dress. I love her.
Hi there, hi. I'm Natalie Greer. It's nice to meet you all. When I sat down at the very beginning of the press conference, my legs were quaking. I felt so nervous. Pete, unfortunately, cannot make it here today himself.
What?
He cannot make it here today himself.
That's a joke. This isn't Madonna, it's Pete Burns.
Well, we're all human at the end of the day, and sometimes wires get crossed, and unfortunately we double book. So it's a last minute hiccup, but I'm sure I can.
If he doesn't want to turn up,
I'm sure I can answer any questions that you put to me.
let's start with the wedding then.
Okay. Okay.
When is it?
The wedding will take, which is a civil ceremony, will take place on.
She looks terribly professional, doesn't she?
It's due to take place at the Royal Society of Arts in Mayfair.
She's fantastic.
And it will commence at 3:30 p.m. It was unknown ground to me. Never ever done anything like that before.
I've heard that Jodie Marsh is going to be a bridesmaid. We've heard that she's going to be wearing next to nothing, including a sparkly belt.
Okay, with regards to Miss Marsh,
Miss Marsh.
it could well be that she may be.
God, get Natalie all professional suddenly.
Watch this space. Keep a lookout for that.
Oh, how fantastic is she?
It seems like about a year ago.
See, she says, watch this space.
Pete and Michael had fallen out. Indeed, Pete ended up in prison.
How come they're back together again?
Pete and Michael have an extremely firm relationship. There has been no separation. I didn't want to let Pete down. I didn't want to give out any, information that could be misconstrued or twisted.
So what's it like being a PA for Pete Burns? Is he a good boss or a bit on the lippy side?
You must have gone on a long mental journey for that one. Pete is an amazing person. He's
absolutely amazing. He's very brave.
He's not afraid to push boundaries.
Look, she's saying all of these positive things about you, which just aren't true. It's amazing.
I know, they're lying, bitch.
Thank you very much for your attendance today and for bearing with me in the absence of Pete. Pete and Michael would like to express their ongoing gratitude to the media and for their constant support at all times. They've been very supportive. Thank you very much.
I thought she did well. The thing with Natalie is every single day I really look forward to seeing her. Whatever task she does, she pulls it off in a unique and original way.
I couldn't remember the breathing techniques. I was focused on the points, on not slipping up, on not giving the press any ability to turn any positive into a negative. And that was my main focus, you know. I can go with that breathing.
I think Natalie was very good with like the facts and figures of the wedding. You know, she really seemed to believe in Pete Burns. You know, even though some people would be sceptical, she came out with exactly what we'd need, to be honest, to write Pete Burns' amazing new wedding, you know, and do a good story on it.
We're running a little bit late, and I have bad news. Pete isn't going to be here.
Okay.
So you're going to have to run this on his behalf.
Okay.
Apologise to them.
Absolutely.
And deal with the pack of media.
Okay, I'll give it a go. As soon as I hit the door, I just thought, oh, here we go, and my heart started to flutter. But that, you know, that can be a good thing. You can turn that around, make it into like a nervous excitement. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for Pete's absence. I'll be taking the press conference today. In the run-up to his forthcoming wedding, he's had a number of areas that he has to see to, and unfortunately something came up at last minute. But my name's Nikki.
Waiting here for the last 45 minutes. That's absolutely ridiculous.
I do apologise, I understand. I'm going to try and give you as much information and help as possible.
You know, if Pete Burns cannot be bothered to turn up to his own press conference, then to be quite honest, I don't think we should be bothered to be here.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, but I think you're going to miss out on an awful lot of very exciting information if you left at this stage. I wasn't expecting to be suddenly fired at from all angles, and
How long have Michael and Pete been together now?
Oh, since October 2003.
Well done.
They went through a bit of a bad patch, well, I would say, for anybody.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a bad patch, which ended up with Pete
tricky
being in
question.
prison. How did that affect their relationship? I mean, for instance, did Michael go to jail and visit Pete?
I'm not aware of the time that when Pete was in prison. I do know that their relationship has definitely proven through all the difficulties. As you say, we all go through extreme difficulties. I did it myself with my own marriage. But, you know, they've stood the test of time, and if anything, it proves how strong they are actually together.
Will there be an 80s pop nostalgia theme to the wedding?
Do we all want to go back to the 80s? I'm not sure I want to wear my 80s clothes again. I've got quite a few photos from that period. Pete's music's still very important to him, and he's staying in touch with that, but he's got a lot of...
This is almost turning into a personal press conference for her. She talks about her marriage, her clothing. You know, is this the Nikki show?
On the horizon, he's got a... he's featuring in a new copybook table... coffee table book even that Michael, his partner, is doing, and this is going to be an amazing insight to Pete.
So she's going to pieces.
Yeah, she's going to pieces.
Coaching by Michael, and also...
You see, this is really surprising because I thought that she'd be fantastic.
If there's no more questions, I'd like to thank you once again.
She cannot wait to get out of there.
Thank you for coming, and I shall bid you good day. But I was just trying so hard to come across professional. I'm just really disappointed.
I think with Nikki, it was all about, you know, when we talked about marriage, she was saying, oh, Pete's gone for a divorce and I've gone for, a messy breakup and all of this kind of stuff. It was all referred to her own life, but, you know, we don't really care about a PA's life. We want a PA that's going to give us what we need for our article.
I would say Nikki was a little frosty. She came across as quite officious, and she seemed to be reading more from a prepared script. She didn't really want to answer many questions at all.
Actually, I've just had a phone call from Pete. He's not going to be able to make it.
Okay.
So you're going to have to run the press conference on your own.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
I was just kind of felt like I was caught off guard. I mean, it all just happened so fast. Unfortunately, I'm really sorry to have kept you waiting. I'm very sorry that Pete isn't actually going to make it this afternoon. He's actually had an emergency.
What kind of emergency? You've kept us waiting here for 45 minutes. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm very, very sorry about that, and I hope this afternoon that I can help you out as much as possible.
We don't want you though, we want Pete.
Yeah, I totally understand that you want Pete, but I'm afraid this afternoon you're going to have to deal with me if that's okay.
What's his excuse? What's going on?
Well, I mean, it's an emergency, a family emergency. It's just something that he couldn't walk away from, I'm afraid. I mean, when it comes down to family, I mean, you can't exactly sort of walk away from your family. And they were just very irate, but yeah, just throwing comments at me. They were like Rottweilers. Well, it's a family emergency, I'm afraid. I mean, obviously he wanted to be here. I mean, I just hope that I can give you...
She's starting to dig herself into a hole now, talking about this family emergency.
I was just wondering which family. I mean, he's only got an ex-wife left, really, these days.
Well, she still counts as family, but I mean, I don't really want to go. I mean, it's a family emergency.
Oh, enough, Denise.
To go through me, then, is that going to be okay?
And who are you?
My name's Denise Snape. So, and again, sorry to have kept you waiting.
Are you Pete's PA, or?
Yes, I'm Pete's PA, and I really hope that I can help you out today with some information and,
He must have a tough job if he doesn't turn up to his own things.
Well, I mean, it is tough, but I think that any human being, when it comes down to
a family emergency,
I mean, we're all human at the end of the day. We kind of have to sometimes put our families first. I mean, I think would you not do that? And that's kind of went to pot a bit because just the unexpectedness and lack of experience, I suppose.
I think that the family emergency could hinder those plans. I mean, 6th of July is only next week, isn't it?
No, the wedding plans aren't going to be hindered.
Is there a problem with his plastic surgery? Has something gone wrong with his lips?
Pete's had some reconstruction surgery. I mean, obviously, sort of the difference between like plastic surgery and reconstruction surgery. I mean, the difference between a boob job or a vasectomy. I mean, Pete's had some reconstruction surgery.
Why is she talking about boob jobs and vasectomies?
Yes, there's the difference between a tit job and a vasectomy.
I felt myself go, and I kind of did let the nerves take over because everything was chucked at me, and it was like, whoa. Michael is actually going to be wearing a Japanese kimono by the designer Kansei.
Did she just say Michael would be wearing?
Yeah.
Not Pete?
Yeah. So Michael's wearing a pink suit and a kimono.
Yeah. And you're going naked?
Ooh. Michael's all dragged up.
Yamamoto is...
Yamamoto.
A-M-O-T-O.
And he was known for doing outfits in the past for...
David Bowie. He did in the Stardust video.
Stardust video? You mean Ziggy Stardust?
Ziggy Stardust, yeah, sorry. And then before I knew it, the press conference was over, and I thought, well, God, I didn't stop them in their tracks, and I didn't tell them what I wanted to say, and it was over before I knew it. Thanks very much for your time. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. I'm very sorry that Pete didn't turn up today.
With Denise, she seemed a little bit muddled about what exactly the story was. So you sort of came away and you weren't quite sure what you wanted to talk about. I don't really know how, but I would have pushed that to my editor.
She bigged up this family trauma and why he couldn't come to a press conference, to the point of, we would have been going out and searching for a new story. Family trauma, what's gone on? Somebody died, somebody, had a heart attack. There was something more to the story, and I think all she did was add chase to the fact that there was a Pete Burns exclusive to be had, and by sitting at a press conference, it wasn't right.
Oh God, I did really well today on the task, but it's only the second task I've done quite well in. I'm a complete novice in the way of dealing with the press. I probably look like a bit of a fanny. And the minute they started throwing loads of questions at me that I wasn't prepared for, when you just feel that ball of fire going up, 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 and the next minute your face is on fire, and you just feel like, when someone embarrasses you and you just can't help but go red. That's how I felt. So, and if I was, a sociopath, I'd be fine, or not.
If I'm not right for the job, then I can live with that.
Even her body language, she looks like she's gone.
I'm a nice person, you know.
Each of you has been absolutely fabulous. It's killing me, it really is. You're not going to be in my...
It's the day of the most crucial elimination so far, and the 3 remaining candidates are feeling the pressure.
I am feeling nervous, which is natural.
I'm feeling good spirits, quite positive, but I really don't know whether it'll be me that's going today.
Already, I can't eat. I constantly feel sick. I've had 3 cups of coffee for breakfast because I can't eat, which isn't a bad thing. But I just, I really want to win, but I just want this sick feeling to be over. I mean, if I'm going today, I'm going.
It's time for Pete Burns, Rob Young and Donna Cooling to decide which one of the remaining 3 candidates will not become Pete's PA.
Well, now the journey's almost over. It's time to see which of you has made it through to the finals to be my PA. But for one of you, the interview is over. That person will have to pack their stuff and leave the house immediately. As I'm sure you all know, I get to see everything. And I watched you from a secret place and saw how you performed at a press conference.
Rob, let's start with Natalie. You're a bit of a conundrum to me because sometimes you don't take things seriously, but on this occasion you created a real buzz, so you got across some very solid facts about the wedding and they were very impressed. At the end of the press conference I spoke to the journalists, and if this had been a real press conference and they'd been writing up headlines, then this is the headline they would have produced. Pete Burns, amazing wedding extravaganza.
That's okay.
So that's great.
That's fantastic.
So you should be, exactly, you should be really pleased.
That's great. Really well done. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Nikki came across as very confident, but the journalists found you quite cold, very distant. And the thing you have to remember with the press is that at times like this, you've invited them to the press conference. You need them to like you.
Yeah, they said she was a robot, didn't they?
Unfortunately.
Sorry.
Another thing you did was you talked about yourself sometimes. So, for example, deflecting a question about whether Pete and Michael have a stormy relationship, you said, myself and my husband, we've had our troubles. Excuse me, this isn't about Nikki and her press conference. It's getting across Pete's story.
I think I panicked then, and because somebody had led me in with that, and I fell for it.
So if the journalists had been writing a real newspaper headline, then this is a story that they would have written based on that day. So Pete Burns is getting married. So flipping what? So you got across a few facts, but there was no excitement. I'm afraid they did not like you.
Yeah.
Denise, I think it started to go wrong from the very beginning when you made up this excuse about Pete having some kind of family crisis. You just can't get drawn into making stuff up, basically. If they'd been writing a real newspaper headline.
Family drama.
Yeah. Pete Burns, family trauma.
Yeah.
Who knows what kind of stuff they could make up about Pete.
Yeah. Sorry, Pete.
It's the horrible time. One of you's got to be sent home packing. Can you let me know what you've all got to say about this?
If you think I'm thick-skinned, it's because I've been through so much in life, and I'm not going to stand here and let this pull me down. I've come here to give it my best, and if that's arrogant, then I'm very, very sorry. But my mum and dad brought me up to give the best that I can do.
Natalie?
I am a perfectionist. I don't want to be seen as, a liability and letting things slip. I'm not that way inclined. I'm a very proud person. I come from a proud background, and I'm a grafter, and that's just the way I am.
Denise?
I think with this challenge this week was literally due to my nerves and showing them fear, and obviously which escalated in saying the wrong things. But I know if I took the job on, I would be much more aware, and I after that one experience, that would just never happen again. It just wouldn't.
We should wind this up, and I've got to say this. this personally. This is absolutely agony for me now. It's really, really difficult. So I've got to be really cold and hard about this and ask you to leave the room, and we're going to probably end up in a punch-up over this situation. And when you come back in, one of you's got to be sent packing. So can you please leave the room now?
Thank you so much. At the minute, I'm really bothered that people think I'm cold and unapproachable.
I feel like shit. I feel like absolute crap at the moment, as always, of course. I mean, if I was, a sociopath, I'd be fine, but I'm not.
If I'm not right for the job, then I can live with that. I just, I'm a nice person, I feel quite drained, but I just want to hear the verdict and get on with it.
This is killing me. I'm sweating like a runner's gutted just thinking about it.
It's become a 3-horse race suddenly.
Yeah.
Because I thought that Natalie would be going today. And actually, she turned in a sterling performance. She was such a star. She was warm and professional. She got all the facts across.
She looked fantastic.
Yeah.
And she gave the information across really professionally, really succinct, and I think she was fantastic.
She made no mistakes.
Denise has fallen apart this week.
Even her body language, she looks like she's gone.
She's just fallen apart. She's not the Denise that's been in the competition all the way through.
This challenge, let's remember, this week was about media savvy. And given that she's the one with journalistic training, and she was saying, but I've never run a press conference before, that to me is an excuse. That was just not good enough in my book.
I understand what she was doing. She was turning stories around so that they were away from you, but she was just spinning herself around with these ridiculous,
Oops, like a record. Oh, she was more dead than alive. Yeah, I get that. No pun intended.
Cue music. That she really did get herself in such a state because she was trying to get the story away from you, but she was just making stuff up, and she was just going deeper and deeper and deeper into this hole.
I don't know what to say. What about Nikki? Say something. You think she's a cold fish?
These people who had only spent half an hour with her, they found her cold. Basically, if you were trying to promote something to the press, you've got a new record out, a new book, whatever, they just wouldn't bother turning up to another press conference because
Why?
they think...
Because of her?
Because of her.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, she's not going to get the information out in a positive manner the way that you want it to. She's kind of so guarded that she doesn't want to give anything away that you don't want to ask her any questions.
Can we I just gotta have a few minutes to think about this. It's really difficult. It's like Russian roulette, isn't it? I gotta think about it. Okay. I can't say how difficult this is because each of you has been absolutely fabulous. It's killing me, it really is. I'm sorry. On this CV is the name of the person who's not going to be my PA, and that person's going to have to leave the house immediately. Oh. Nikki, you fucked up this week, but you learn lessons really well. You excel in a lot of things, and you make mistakes, and that's human. Natalie, you never fail to surprise me. You've got a lot to learn, and I think you learn lessons really, really well. Denise, you're a great, great person, and I really, really believe in you, but you fell apart under the pressure. I don't think that would happen again. I wish I could have all three of you, I really do, but I can't. I really can't. You're not going to be my PA. I'm so sorry. Please leave the house.
I'm gutted, of course, but what can you do? I can't go back in there and tell him to change his mind, can I? So it's one of those things.
It's almost over. We've almost reached the end of the road. So please go and take a rest. And congratulations.
start again. What you've made me do.
Oh, you're crying. That's killed me, Suzanne, the poor girl.
Not so thick-skinned, are we?
With Denise eliminated, only 2 candidates remain. Who will be Pete's PA? Next time on Pete's PA, Natalie and Nikki go head-to-head when Pete sets them a final challenge to plan his charity stag party.
I am quite worried actually. I'm not excited at all. I lied.
While Natalie feels the pressure,
I can't even speak at the moment. I'm so annoyed. I'm really annoyed. I just think I'm going to get up there and just burst into fits of tears. I won't be able to speak.
Nikki has problems of her own.
Oh, okay. That's a shame. It's very deflating when you get a knockback.
And in the final elimination, the candidates are told who will be Pete's PA.
What a diva. And tomorrow night at 10, there's a second chance to see special guest Chris Judd in Dirty Dancing, The Time of Your Life, here on Living 2.